So we agreed on the core programs. And essentially, what we agreed upon is that, yes, there are definitely workshops and classes that we all need, that we want to have access to, that none of us can produce on our own. But if we do this together, we can probably share our resources. Also, a great website portal, a way for people to communicate across that region and utilize the great technologies that are changing every minute. Focus on networking, focus on coaching and mentoring. This has been a big piece since the beginning, is the idea that we can't change and we can't do better if we don't get that extra push from a coach and a mentor who can help us make real change happen in our lives. And then, of course, regional outreach was a big piece of this, and an internship program. This is really the connection back to CSU. Every single one of the states that came to Fort Collins said that one of the most important things they wanted to see out of this was for one of their universities to do what CSU is doing. So that connection to higher education is really a key part of what this is attempting to do. So, other services that we imagine in the future include shared professional services, finding funding. You know, if all of us are working together, it makes it a little bit easier for people to pay attention to us from New York and LA. They suddenly realize that they can invest in the West, in the Intermountain West, when they see this really wonderful regional connection. We also imagine some sort of annual arts conference that would pull us all together, give us a chance to share in person. And of course, there's always an option for a celebrity event. And again, the economy of scale, the idea of pulling people together. There are a lot of people who live in the West and who appreciate what we love about living here, who want to help support this. So we've been thrilled, honestly, by the prospects of celebrity interest in this project. So, in 2012, we formed committees to help us do this incredible task of figuring out how the curriculum was going to work. And as I mentioned before, nearly 40 people applied to be on these committees. We have 20 people who have been with us every week for 3 months, except for last week, but who have spent incredible amounts of time, energy, and ideas and creativity to help us figure out how we really tackle what it is that's going to make all of our arts communities thrive in a more meaningful way. So we divided ourselves into 3 committees. We had a how committee, a what committee, and a why committee. The how committee, we tried to keep it pretty simple. It was all about how do we deliver the content. It was about websites, about technologies, and they really did some awesome research in the states to understand what we were going to face in terms of internet connectivity, and they did some great research in that way. The what committee was really focused on what artists need, what specific business skills, what other things do they need in particular. And then the why committee was really working on this crazy new thing that we realized was a part of the equation, which is the community. We have to change the value proposition, and we have to realize that if the community doesn't value arts, then no matter how many business skills we give to artists and creatives, the community won't value them enough to pay for them. So we had the why committee really talking to the community and trying to get at why do you not, how can we help you understand how creativity can make you more money, can help you solve problems. And we've had some amazing connections from those incredible committee people. So we're going to call the committee people up at this moment because we really want to thank them for the incredible work that they did. So the what committee: Barbara Gilhooly, Ann Hanna, Lynn Hull. Come on up here. We have a gift for you. You have to come up. You don't have to do it alone. Lynn Hull, Taylor Ordway, Carrie Bissentainer, Haley Sampson, Chris Bates, the Y Committee, Kat, Gilio, I don't know why I can never remember that, Hamida Glasgow, Doug Lavelle, Elizabeth Morissette, Ron Phillips, Amy Reckley, Toby Swafford, Dulcie Willis, and then the How Committee: Stu Crair, Jamie Donnelly, Linda Lyons, Marge Norskog, and Bill Whitley. All of these, let's give them a huge round. scope of their meetings to do work on this project. They've made connections for us in the community that we could never have done without their help. So they've been amazing and thoughtful and challenging in a wonderful way. And without them, the curriculum would not be what it is. So thank you so much to them. And they get the first caps and blue cards, which are thank you to the Westie Children. So here's what they did. What we first did, and how many of you were at the Curriculum Summit in January? All right, great. So, not so many of you. So a lot of you are new to this whole process. We had about 120 people in January help us kick off this whole idea of curriculum and what we needed. Then we spent February refining our vision and mission, and then in March we worked on goals and objectives for the curriculum itself, and of course today we're actually going to reveal the high-level design of the curriculum itself. So I mentioned a little bit earlier about this idea about the value proposition and how we really had to challenge ourselves to think about who we really needed to be serving and how we could change people's value for arts and creativity. So we started with an original vision statement that was basically, or a belief that really was, creativity helps humanity thrive. But through the process with the volunteers on the committees and through the surveys that we did and the work at the Curriculum Summit, we came to change this a little bit more. We want it to be even clearer that creatives will lead the way to that change. This is an incredible opportunity for all of us who are creatives and innovators, that if we're going to change things, we're probably the ones who have the ideas. So we worked a little bit further on our vision and realized that where we started, which was certainly a great vision, building a vibrant and enterprising arts community throughout the West, is no small vision. But we realized that we were, A, thinking a little bit small, and that B, we weren't really addressing that question of value. So building vibrant and enterprising communities by generating new value for the arts and creativity is the vision behind what we're trying to achieve. So that means that our mission changed a little bit as well. Our original mission was very clearly about business development, and it was about serving the arts community specifically. And now we've added this whole idea that AIR is creating a culture and a sense of creative place that values and sustains artists and community and appreciates creativity of all expressions. AIR serves as the hub of the arts community in the Intermountain West and provides the education, resources, and support to elevate artistic career and organizations. So we definitely realized that who we were serving was a little bit different than who we originally thought we were serving. So the target audience that we ended up working with the committees to really refine is a much broader group than what we originally thought. It's no longer just about artists and creatives, it's about the whole community and how we find those connections for each other. So we also wanted to make sure that AIR was really seen as something that was open and was really supportive of folks who are at all different levels of their creative process. So AIR strives for excellence, to make great art, and raise the reputation of artists, but our programs are open to all. The other piece, of course, the second one, is that we're serving all creatives and community members who want to shift the paradigms about art, money, value, and community. So you get the idea. We were really struggling at this point when we realized, how the heck are we going to create curriculum that now is even broader than we thought it was? And how do we allocate our time and our funds? How much is for the community? How much is for just artists? So this was a really good exercise for us to try and figure that out. So the next step that we did was to really dig into the curriculum goals themselves. And this was a great way for us to winnow down and really finalize who we were serving and what those goals of the curriculum are. So we have 3 goals, and they are very clearly about artistic success and creatives. So that is absolutely one of the big goals, but we also wanted to make sure that it was clear that our another goal was actually changing the way that the community operates and thinks about arts and creativity. The other piece that came out through all of our processes is that we can't forget about the kids. This is a cycle that we don't want to ignore, and that arts education and creativity has to be a part of the solution. It's not something that we're going to focus our curriculum on necessarily, but we believe that our curriculum will encourage this to happen, and that it will really change the way that we're teaching our kids as time goes on. So then we got even more specific, curriculum objectives. Okay, what do we want people to learn? What are they going to get out of our program? Creatives will acquire non-art skills. This is the business piece, to enhance their creative expression and support their art making. So this is the part that really is about what we thought the traditional arts incubator was going to do, which was serve the artist with professional development skills. We wanted to make sure that artists and creatives have new opportunities to learn and share throughout the Intermountain West. So we'll be encouraging with our other state arts agencies, residencies and internships and apprenticeships, all those sorts of things, and really focus them to draw attention to the Intermountain West as a great place to be creative. And again, here's the networking piece. Creatives have lifelong access to art and business skills, resources and networks, including coaches and mentors. What we imagine that we're creating is something that is about making friends, it's about making connections, and really having lots of peers and mentors who are able to help us challenge our own art and challenge the way that we operate in the community as well. And then we have one that is actually about community members. So this was sort of our dividing line. We're now finally at a 75-25 kind of split here to understand what we're trying to do. Community members, including educators, have access to interactive arts experiences and creativity skill development programs. Interactive arts experiences is arts appreciation. We think that's a bad term. So this is the new one that we've come up with, so that it's not just about sitting in a classroom and learning about how to listen to music or how to view art. This is about doing things and learning how to do and make art together. So that's purposefully a more interactive choice of words there. So the curriculum competencies are actually the things that we realized that people needed to learn in order to achieve those goals and objectives. So we spent a lot of time going through competencies, and we prioritized and we wrote things and trying to figure out what the heck everyone needed to learn. But the biggest thing that came out for everyone was that the paradigm shift about the value proposition for arts and creativity, that this is the way we're going to change the world and make the world a better place, was the most important thing. So after the committees worked significantly on trying to come up with these competencies, we did a little test. In March, we had an Arts and Drafts networking event. How many of you were at that? Great. So if you may recall, we had to prioritize all of those competencies, and some really interesting trends came out of that. They mirrored what was happening in our curriculum committees, but again, these were people who were not in the curriculum committees. These were folks who were just coming to hang out and have a drink at the Center for Fine Art Photography on a Wednesday night. And they identified clearly that mentoring and coaching and access between community and creatives, and of course business planning and skills, but that the paradigm shift, mentoring, coaching, and access between community and creatives were by far the most important things that we could actually learn from the curriculum. So this began to really help us figure out what the curriculum was going to be, and now you're being revealed to the actual curriculum.